Hi, this is Dreama, and today we are doing a client reading. And as always, I know the name of the client, they know their name, but I won't be saying it in this video. Now, today's reading is a 12-month future reading, and it's just a general reading. There's no specific questions or anything like that. And we're going to be using the Legacy of the Divine Tarot. It's a deck that I am very connected to and one that I use quite often. Now, because we're already into the month of August, we're going to start with September, okay? And let me get these cards there. These are going to be actually the first 6 months. And then this bottom half will be the second part of the 6 months. Okay. My circle's not completely circle, but I wanted to try to make sure I could get it all on the camera. Now, we're going to start over here, and this is going to represent September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and then next August. Okay, so it's a full year. All right, we're going to start with September, and we have the Fool. Now, this is an interesting card because it doesn't always mean that, you know, someone is foolish. But what this does tell me about next month, the month of September, is that next month is going to be kind of a frenzy for the client, kind of intoxicating, okay? I think there's going to be a lot of things going on in your life where things are kind of going overboard. There's, you know, a chance to, you know, possibly all the things that you kind of wanted are going to come into your life, and things are going to be a bit overwhelming, okay? If that makes sense. Almost to a point where there's just so much going on that you're going to have a really hard time handling everything. So just be sure you take a step back next month and take a deep breath and be sure of what you're doing, just because there's going to be so much going on. I think it's going to be love, finances, a little bit of everything, okay? All right, and next we have the Ten of Cups. Now, this is a card about contentment and about feeling complete. So what that tells me is, now this should be the October. By October, things in your life are going to quiet down, okay? And you're going to become feeling really, really more content and loved, and things are just really going to come together for you in that month. And I think there's someone in your life that's going to cause all this frenzy next month. And that will begin to settle down, and a peace and contentment will come over you and your relationships, okay? All right. Now we're going to move on to the Ten of Coins. Now, this is another card about good things, about abundance, about lots of things. So what that tells me is that's another really good month for you. It's a month where everything that you've wanted is just seeming to come together, and you have it all. It seems to be exactly what you wanted, okay? Next we have the Emperor. Now, this is an interesting card because it's a very powerful card. And what I mean by that is the card is red. It's a very red card, and to me it's all about power. You know, it's about a person that is kind of stable and powerful and things like that. So what that tells me is that your life has begun to become more stable, and the other person in your life, they are more stable now, okay? All right, now next we have the Eight of Coins. Now, this tells me that during that month, there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done. That is going to be a month where work is very important, and you may need to work on your relationship a little bit just to make sure that things stay the same. Don't become complacent and lazy. Make sure that you and the other person put plenty of work into the relationship and also into your finances to make sure that everything stays good. And it looks like these next few months are just really good for you. Okay, and then we have the Hangman. Now, this is interesting because I'm not sure how you can see, but, you know, the Hangman, he's hanging upside down, almost in a state of suspension. That's what I'm getting from this. That things are pretty much the same, okay? That things have not really changed much. You're still, having to work really hard to make sure that things stay together, but you're also, wanting things to become stable and stay that way. Looks like a couple months back they finally stabilized, and right now you're just, in this month you'll be in a case where you're just suspended and just waiting, and not much is changing. Just be sure you stay diligent, okay? Next we have the Four of Coins. Now this is an interesting card because I'm not sure how well you can see, but there is just one person in the card, and this person is holding actually a coin. And what this tells me is that it seems to be that something is going to happen in your life to make you want to cling to something. I'm not sure if there's going to be maybe a personal relationship that you want to cling to, or some finances, but you're going to want to begin to cling and hoard that relationship and that finances, because it looks like everything was going great. It was stable. Then it was almost as if things were in a kind of a suspended way, and not much was happening. But then this month it looks like there's something has happened that is going to cause you to want to draw things close and keep them close, okay? And I'm not sure, I think it's a relationship. Be sure you don't become too overly clingy and obsessive. And then we have the Three of Swords. Now, that's interesting after this month, because that's a card about pain. This card is about emotional pain. Someone in your life very close to you is going to cause you a huge amount of emotional pain, to the point where it's just going to be despair, and it's really not going to be a good month for you. Now this comes right after this clinginess, so this is something that you can actually prevent. Watch out for that clinginess and wanting to possess things. If you can do that, then you may not have to go through the rest of this, okay? And then we have the Five of Wands. Now this card, I'm not sure if you can see, but this card, there's one man with a wand, and there's all these others, and everybody's fighting. So what that tells me is that after this pain and despair, you decide that it's time to fight, okay? So whatever it is that you've lost, it looks like you're going to stand up to try to win back what you've lost. This, I believe it's a person. I really do. Make sure that you be careful, though, because there's going to be other people that are battling against you. This is not going to be something that's easily done. There's going to be other people involved that will actually fight back so that you cannot get back what you've lost. Okay? And then we have the Six of Swords. Now, I'm not sure how well you can see, but there's a girl in a boat, and she's moving this way. So what that tells me is that it looks as though you're going to begin to move away from all of this, from the relationship, from the fighting. You're just going to begin to move away. Okay? And then we have Judgment. Now, the Judgment card is interesting because it's about fairness and things like that, and the rule of law. So what that tells me is you're going to begin to feel, once you've moved away, more empowered, more like what you've done is right. It's the right thing to do. However, I don't think that's what the heart is going to tell you. I think your head is going to say it's the right thing to do, to move on, but it's not something your heart really wants to do. And then we have the Five of Swords. And if you notice, he's holding one and holding one, or all these down here. So what that tells me is that there's going to be some things that you're going to have to leave behind. There's going to be some things in your life that is going to have to be left behind. And whoever this relationship is up here, and I really believe it's a relationship. It's a good relationship over the next several months. But it turns bad when you get a little clingy. So in order to actually avoid the bottom half, the last 6 months of the year, if you're just aware of this is going to happen, all of this can be changed, because no reading is ever written in stone. If you do something and change something, this whole bottom half could be changed. And that's what I would suggest that the client do. Watch out for this clinginess and this obsessiveness. Be sure that you don't do that, because if you do, this is what will happen. And what will happen in the end, at the end of the 12 months, which will be next August, is you will have to leave some things, some relationships behind and move on. Okay? All right, that does conclude my reading for today. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining me, and I do hope to see you all again.